Hey, garagesters. Welcome back to the garage. Got my cam bearing remover set up and installed in my block, which is on my table upside down. Here is cam bearing number 5 already out. We'll inspect those closer once I get them all out. But the way you do it is use this little cone to center the hammer when you hit it, or center the rod, and then I'll smack on this right here, and then that will push against that collar, which is butted up against the cam bearing, and it'll push it out this side, and then I will get it off the tool, and then I can put in the new ones. And the new ones are pretty easy. There's just some journal holes in the side. Is there only one? One per cam bearing? Yeah, I think so. Let's see if I can see it here. Yeah. That little hole right there, you have to line up the bearing with. There's a hole in the new bearings, and you can see it's kind of oblong. And the hole in the bearing is just a circle, so you have a little bit of a range to line it up. So that I'll do after I get the block clean, and I'll just have the girlfriend eye it up for me and help me make sure that I've got this right in line, and then I'll smack in the new ones, reverse of taking out the old ones. So that's pretty mellow, which is nice. I also got a nice nifty tool, a piece of pipe from Menards, and I used it to get my pinion bearing fully seated on my pinion shaft. So that's good. That is now done, ready to install. This is my bushing for my steering rack, and it is rubber and just slides apart on this pin here. DRM makes a completely aluminum one of those to solidify the front steering, so I think I'm going to get one of those once I go to DRM to rinse my block and hone it and polish the crank. Good news though, I talked to Total Engine Airflow this morning, and the cylinder heads are on their way probably next week. They're second in line to get a valve job done, which means they're already out of the CNC machine. So they'll get the valve job with the new valves and then get all the new valve train installed. So that's going to be awesome. So I've got this block here to get these freeze plugs out of, get the cam bearings out of, clean off the deck surface here with my razor blade, and then that is done. I may look into deburring it a little bit, but we'll see what I read online. I may or may not. I'm still uncertain. I also fixed up my suspension arm over here, one of my rear control arms. The grease zerk was yanked out and the hole was stripped, so I got a new one, and put that in there with some steel set epoxy, so that should stay. And then I replaced this one as well, because this one, the check valve didn't work, and it would just spit the grease right back out when it was pressurized. So that got taken care of, which is good. All my engine parts are still over there. Subframe's still here. What else? New diff is in here with the ring gear on. Axles are ready. Oh, I took my new studs are in the axle up there, but this is the new cover that is going to go on the rear end. Pretty sweet unit from TA Performance. It's got a magnetic drain plug on the bottom, but I also put the donut from the old cover in there as well, just to soak up any metal shavings, and I JB welded that on there, so that's just hardening up, which will be fine. This thing is super cool because it's got these little, I guess, bearing, it's a stud girdle or a bearing cap girdle. So you see how strong this thing is across here. What you do is you tighten down the little hex nut in there. Not very tight, you just tighten it up against the bearing cap inside the diff, and you tighten that down to a few foot-pounds, and then you snug down the nut, and it keeps the diff from flexing, because that is the main cause of destruction for these stock Camaro rear ends, which I did not want to put a Ford 9-inch in, because I don't got that kind of money or time or patience. So this unit will be just fine with all the upgrades that I've done. I mean, it's a stock unit, but it's got bearing studs on it. It's got all new axle bearings and pinion and ring bearings, ring and pinion bearings, and a new ring and pinion, and a new diff and new axles. So it's about as robust as I think I can make it. It should handle the power wonderfully. So, that being said, I'm gonna smack these cam bearings out and get the freeze plugs out, and then I'll put this bad boy back on the rack for now to free up my desk, because also my fuel pump came in. So I got that and a bunch of wiring instructions to get it plugged in to the main unit here, and so I'm gonna do that as well, probably tomorrow and maybe today as well. But looks like the girlfriend's home, so we'll come back at you in a bit. Word. All right, guys and gals, we're calling it here for the day. Did a little bit of running around, and I've been back in the shop here for a few hours. Got a few things done, and I'm going to accomplish a couple more things tomorrow, and we will get to a nice little midpoint. So I'll show you what's what here and tell you what's what for tomorrow, and yeah. So Jenny helped, and we got the new pinion installed in the diff housing there. Pretty sweet. Oh, let me back this up. Whoop. So that's installed. The only thing left to do on here is I'll install the new seal right here, and then the yoke can go on, which is somewhere in by the drive shaft, I think, over in that corner. The yoke will go on with the yoke, and then the washer, and then the nut, and that'll tighten down and take up the rest of the play in here. And my preload will be set, and then the ring, the outer races can go on here, and we can test fit our carrier inside of our diff housing here with our new stud kit on the main studs there. So we'll pop that in there, and we will use our original shims, which I got stored and labeled in there. And so we're just going to assemble that with our new pieces with our old shims and see how it all measures out. We'll paint it, measure the backlash and paint the gears to see the pattern. And if it's good, like I've got a bunch of literature to check it. So if it's good, I'm not going to second guess it. I'm gonna let it run, because you know, it's a technical thing, but it's not rocket science. So if the numbers are telling me the right thing, I'm going to believe them. So that'll be fun. We'll get that set up. This is currently drying. I think it's probably dry already. This stuff is like really quick set. Oh yeah, that's on there. Sweet. So that will be ready as well to test fit on here tomorrow. I'll do the fuel pump tomorrow as well, or maybe. It's on the list. But then what I really want to do is, I think is it this side? Yeah, there's a big hex bolt right there. It's like 17 millimeters. So I want to go grab one of those from the hardware store. They're like $10, and then I'll just have it. I'll pull that final freeze plug out, or coolant passage plug. It's not a freeze plug because it's threaded. And then I'll hose down my decks with some gasket remover and get those cleaned up. And then this hunk of junk will be ready to pull off the stand, put it in the trunk of the Grand Prix, and brought to DRM. Whenever my heads come in, which may be as soon as, probably not next week, but the week after. So that would be really awesome, because then I would have like the end of January plus the whole month of February to get this thing back together. Yeah, this is looking really good. All my engine stuff is over here, so this is kind of going to be in a holding pattern until I do my explanation episode. Oh, I got my cam bearings out here. They are labeled from the factory. There's a 2 on that one. But you can see I'll kind of set them. Let's see where some of them were. Oh yeah, look at that. Copper in there. Some in there. Middle one. Oh yeah, there's some there. So yeah, this is going to be a very worthwhile thing. Oh, look at that. That's all shiny. So, yeah, I'm going to end up being very glad I ended up doing that. So, and I was telling you about when I took the other one out, you just have to line up one of these holes with the oil galley so it flows oil to the cam, which is super easy to do. You got like roughly If this little crevice right here is the galley, you got, you know, roughly that many degrees to line it up with, so it's not too hard. It's best to do it with two people, someone spotting and someone hammering, then they can tell you when to stop. So Jenny and I will do that after the block is done and before it goes back together. So good stuff there. Other than that, yeah, the fuel pump, like I said, I want to get a solid bushing from DRM eventually for this front steering. So that'll happen before I put the rack back on the subframe. But I've got lots of other stuff to do in the meantime. We can start porting on the intake eventually here. The cylinder heads will be back soon. The fuel tank, the fuel pump will go in the tank, and I'll commence with the wiring. And then we'll do the nitrous wiring and the dashboard and stuff like that. So I don't know if I'm quite halfway through yet. I think maybe I'll be halfway through when the engine's ready to put back together. That's probably a good mark. But yeah, I think probably for tomorrow, I'm definitely going to do this and then just check it. And then hopefully, I think I can, if it's good, if it checks out good, I'll probably install it. I'll throw the Bilsteins on the back. And no, actually I won't, because the fuel tank has to go in first. So we'll see. Once I put this in here, this will start to get a little heavy. I'll probably still be able to lift it, but yeah, it'll be fun. So, but yeah, good stuff on the horizon. I think I'll do a couple shorts tomorrow as well, maybe about the new shocks that I got, and maybe a short about these the gear ratios as well. So should be fun. Yeah, tune in later, guys. I'm gonna head inside and get something to eat. See ya.